All right. Well, the Avs got a point out of that one against Anaheim. They finally broke down the Lucas Dost wall, who this evening. Spring 3.4 goals saved above average for the Anaheim netminder in a game in which the Avs dominated puck possession. It seemed for the whole game, certainly in the third period, they outshoot Anaheim 17-4. They do go for 3 on the power play, 3 shots, but that I thought they generated some good opportunities. They certainly had grade A scoring opportunities throughout the game. Bardakov has one on the goal line. Nelson had multiple. Nichushkin comes back into the lineup, but finally they get a 5-on-5 goal on the back door from Arturi Lehkonen. 3-on-3 was just like the most unhinged overtime I've seen out of Colorado this year. But you get a point, and you guys know my rule on games that go to overtime. You get a point, nothing else matters.
Yeah, overtime was electric, certainly for the Avs, and then a couple late turnovers, and Wedgwood bailed them out. But I thought, okay, yeah, Lucas Dostal. I believe he was my sleeper Vezina pick.
He was.
Before the
He
season started. Good goalie. Could see him coming on. It was part of, along with a lot of the young talent they have. And even without Leo Carlson, Troy Terry, they're a solid team. I thought they just D'd up well. I know that the Avs got a ton of shots on goal in this game, but they made life tough. This game kind of reminded me of the Nashville game, except you don't get called for a penalty with less than 5 minutes to go, and you're able to tie it up. And that was a heck of a pass by Brock Nelson and shot by Arturi Lehkonen. They had multiple chances in this game. Bardakov got stuffed by the post on a rebound right in front of net. Man, I don't know how that thing, he just shot it right middle of the post.
Yeah, he just straight up missed.
Right there. Oh, that's brutal. Ross Colton, a little snake bitten, had some chances. Thought Jack Drury was in the middle of some chances tonight. I think that, are we finally hitting the malaise of the season where you can only be that good for so long before you're like, damn, can we just get to the Olympic break?
Like, yeah, you might be regressing to the mean just a little bit over the 7-game homestand, just a little bit, nothing crazy, but this might be a little bit of a regression. I do think that you're right. I think having there's 8 Olympians on this team, or 8 possible Olympians. Who knows if Devon Taves or Gabe Landeskog are going to be playing on this team. Or rather for their nations in Italy coming up. There's 7 games to go until the Olympic break, and it does feel as though they just want to get there. I would expect that the condensed schedule has guys a little bit exhausted and a little bit burnt out. That's okay by my stretch. If you fail to get a point against Anaheim in a game in which you dominated possession, man, that's just the way she goes sometimes. Dostal was fantastic this evening. I do feel as though that we are getting to the point in the season that you need a break. You need some sort of, we're away from the game, or we're going to Italy to go play for a gold medal, and those guys are going to be getting up for that.
Yeah, it just feels like psychologically at some point, because I've noticed as the homestand started, I thought the Toronto game they lose, but I thought they were great in that game. And then as it's gone on, though, even the Caps win on Monday. Like, I don't think Washington didn't threaten them. They were able to kind of just outpace them a little bit. 7 games, you're at home, you like it, it's good. After the Nashville game, we're like, oh, you still have an 11-point cushion on Dallas. It's up to 12. You're not even playing. It went up. The cushion
with 2 and 3 games in hand.
The cushion increased, and they've lost 3 times on this homestand, and the cushion still increased. like the sense of urgency is kind of getting taken away because they're short of chasing Boston. That's it. That's the only true carrot. Unless Dallas, I think if Dallas won like 4 in a row, and they did win their last game. If Dallas whips off like 4 in a row, the Avs will look behind them and they'll say, "Oh shit, let's get into gear again." But man, the cushion increased. There's a break coming up. It felt like they were really good tonight, but man, I've seen them play way better than this. And honestly,
it's so funny, man. Dude. I thought they were going to get beat 1-0, and I was going to come on the show and go, it's one of the best offensive games I've seen them play all season.
I thought the third period was good.
The third period, they had the puck the entire third period. You know what? How's this? I won't say offensive. I thought their neutral zone today was sensational at 5-on-5. Like their ability to regroup the puck and go right back on the attack in the neutral zone, particularly in the third, was like, I don't know how on the opposite bench you're not going, when just like let them score because it's going to happen. Just like let them get it out of the way.
What was with the decision to put Olofsson on the top line? Now, I'll say this, and that's just there's a negative comment from Vinny Two Guns. He's got one in each hand. Olofsson had a real, he might have saved them a point late in this game.
100%
shoots one through Wedgwood. Just another one of the young talent that they have. And then Olofsson comes and keeps it from going. Maybe Wedgwood ultimately would have corralled it, but I don't think so. I think Olofsson keeps that from going in. But an interesting decision. See, I saw earlier today, I thought it was just the power play that he was going to replace Lehkonen, but no, line switch, Olofsson up to the top line at even strength as well. Lehkonen down to the second line. That pays off because he scores on the right wing on the second line. And I don't know. Olofsson can score in that spot just like Lehkonen did. But really, to me, they took Ross Colton down to the third line.
That's what happened.
Ross down to the third line. Maybe the thought was, let's just go ahead and put Olofsson with McKinnon and H's because those are the two types of players that can raise ships, raise all boats. Did you think Olofsson got raised tonight? I thought he was okay.
No, I didn't think he was great, but it takes more than a game to figure out how to play with those guys, that's actually like one of my bigger gripes with Bednar. I don't have a problem with blending lines in the game and just trying to see if something fits in game. But if you want to figure out if Victor Olofsson can be, a top line player when there's injuries throughout the lineup, you need to give him a couple of games up there. So I'm going to withhold my judgment. I thought the second line was fantastic. So while the first line mixing and matching with Olofsson playing alongside Natchez and McKinnon didn't work, Nelson, Nichushkin, and Lehkonen were phenomenal. They were the best line on the ice for either team tonight. And it wasn't just the third. It was like the whole game. Brock Nelson was dangerous the entire evening. Val Nichushkin coming back into the lineup after having a minor car accident prior to the win against Washington didn't miss a beat whatsoever. So did Olofsson look great on the top line tonight? No. Did he save you a point because of a great back check to get to the house? He sure did.
Yeah. RJB says put Colton up there. He was so close. Colton's been on the second line, and yes, he is snake bin. He's been so close on so many opportunities of late, but I think maybe like I said, I think this was mostly about bringing Colton down to the bottom six.
I think Nate would hate him on the top line.
He played up there early last year when they had nobody.
Yeah, when he had like 11 goals in 12 games, something crazy like that, and then he breaks his foot.
I remember all of this is happening because Landeskog is out.
Yeah.
So you're one top six guy short. Ross, while he's played fairly well, I think maybe there was a sense of let's slow it down for him. Ross has been largely a third line guy. Let's put him back on the third line. And I thought it was good to see him playing with Drury and Kelly again. And I think that's a good little threesome. Lehkonen's your best player yeah, you're moving Lehkonen down to the second and you're elevating Olofsson all the way to the first, but Lehkonen's the best player of all three of those players. So it's no wonder that Lehkonen goes onto that second line, and it's Colton coming out. Like, I think if you put Olofsson onto the second line tonight, maybe you see that top line click a little more because Lehkonen's still on there.
Yeah, there's a very good chance that happens
with Natchez and McKinnon, but because it's wherever Lehkonen went. So Lehkonen goes to the second line because, they're trying to figure out who's that sixth forward with Landeskog out. Colton got a run. Now they give Olofsson a little look. I don't know what much more you can do. Those would probably be the two guys.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, do you trust Brindley to put him up there?
Well,
no, not at this point.
That guy a few weeks ago. Brindley seems to he's still playing well. Like, he's playing hard, but yeah. And then that's a rookie.
Yeah,
so,
what is he, 21 years old, something like that? So yeah. I can't expect it to be steady Eddie with Gavin Brindley at this point. I love how he plays, and I think he's a great fit for this organization. But he's too up and down at this point to be a top six or a top line option for me. I don't think it's to the point where you have to go, so how's this? Let's talk about the schedule. Let's talk about 7 games remaining until the Olympic break, and then 7 games from the Olympic break until the trade deadline. Does it give you enough pause to go, I want a top 6 winger?
Well, but if Landeskog's healthy, you have your 6.
If,
and he should be. It's just broken ribs, just bones. That's all it is. It's not going to be the 4 to 6 month variety that Bo Nix
was that a Brett Kane right there?
Reference. And you were in the room that day when that all went down.
One of the funniest things he's ever said, man.
Yeah, so it's just a little bones. It's just a little ribs for Gabe. I will say, though, the Solovyov trade kind of perks me up a little bit because I'm like, why would you trade that guy? I know. Jack Ashawn was that 8th D-man that I forgot about, and now he's back in the lineup because Solovyov's gone. Jack Ashawn is fine, but, like, honestly, Solovyov was kind of playing up to where, like, yeah, reliable depth D guy. So if I'm seeing them trade him, automatically I'm thinking there's something bigger coming.
Yeah. Well, they have, like, how many picks do they have between rounds 4 and 7 next year? They have, I think it's 4 or 5 picks in the latter rounds that they can probably package a few of those to go and get a type of 6-7 D-man. So moving on from Solovyov, it does tell me one thing. They were not comfortable with Solovyov being their first option if someone gets injured. So I do think they're going to trade for a bottom 2 D-man. Is it going to be a guy who plays every night? Maybe not. But that's what the Solovyov trade tells me.
Yeah, I mean, you can upgrade over to Solovyov, but that to me is because they didn't replace him. They don't have a reliable depth D right now. I would have been like, if that's your guy, okay, I think he's earned it. But now you got nobody. So yeah, something else is coming.
Yeah, they're going to make a deal for a bottom pair D. It's going to happen.
And you could see them added forward too.
I don't know if you can add Kadri, man. Like, it feels as though you don't have enough to go out and get him because it's going to cost so much to get his cap down to around that $4.5 million mark, which is kind of the sweet zone for Colorado. I don't know. Could you look at a Blake Coleman? Does that do anything for you at this point? Doesn't really do anything for me. You're going to have to sit and wait, I think, and see if there's a team that's kind of fallen out of favor. Now, the New York Rangers are certainly that team. Or, like, would they be willing to give up Vinny Trocheck? Could you fit Vinny Trocheck here? I would take him as a third-line center.
Panarin?
See, the Panarin thing's been floated. It doesn't make sense to me. It's another right-handed
One thing
shot.
about him
it's
is
another
he is an expiring
winger.
contract. He is an expiring contract, though.
Yeah, I could take that. I
So
would take an
you
expiring
don't have to
deal, but like
worry
I'm not
about
giving up a
that.
first and a prospect.
I mean, if you acquire Artemi Panarin, then, first of all, someone good is playing on the third line. And if someone gets hurt, you're on the wing, you're okay. And also, Victor Olofsson would never see the top six again. Ross Colton would never see the top six again, or at least for the rest of the year, because you would just be absolutely stacked. You could vulture on this thing. I mean, you could just. Do you go all in this year? Is this the type of year where you just say we cannot let this slip? Anything else be damned. We have got to win a cup this year.
Yeah, I mean, you're in that window. You certainly have to. I don't know if that means Artemi Panarin.
Trocheck 5.625 with 3 years after this.
If you could get New York to retain, but I don't know if Drury's going to retain that.
Do a solid for your nephew. Come on now, different conference. You're out of it.
Trocheck would be a phenomenal third line center. He's got a little bit of fuck you. That's the reason why he's always around that Team USA conversation, and certainly was this year. Right? He's on the roster, Vinny Trocheck. I'm almost positive Vinny Trocheck is a Team USA player. I would certainly look for him. I haven't given up my Jamie Alexiak dream. No, if Seattle is out of it and they want to give him for pennies on the dollar, I would have Jamie Alexiak as a 6'7" D man. That's a big left-handed shot. Without a doubt, you can talk me into that. I've seen the Avs linked to Dougie Hamilton. I love Dougie Hamilton. That's a lot of length, but that's a lot of money, and it's also another right-handed shot on the blue line.
You mentioned Team USA, so real quick, because I do have a thought on this. Brock Nelson takes the opening shootout shot. First attempt of the year, they decided to go to Brock Nelson, and great move until he was slow as hell to get. I mean, man, slow motion.
Dude, that was like my freaking go-to shootout move was that little fake shot, hard backhand, hard forehand, and just hoping that the goaltender was going to lift his toe, because it's so difficult when your hands are extended like that and you're on the goal line on that short angle to elevate the puck with like 2 inches of space in between you and the pad to get that thing up and over the pad. It's so hard to do. And like, you saw that Brock couldn't do it. And that I felt
you're right.
Man.
It was really hard to do. You got to be it's why you see it just kind of fall off the blade a lot of the times. You got to be so quick. You just got to go. And I know the shootouts are what they are. Natchez, McKinnon, Makar. Every single time. They're trying too many different things. Brock Nelson, they gave a shot. No. Natchez, McKinnon, Makar. I don't care.
Yeah, I miss the days of like Brian Ralston coming in and just hammering a clapper from the hash marks. Like, can we let who's got the hardest shot on the team? It's either Malinsky, Manson. Let's let one of those two dudes just walk in and Brian Ralston the shit out of this thing.
You can just go do it. You can do that because their side-to-side moves are not good. They're not good. No,
they're a bad shootout team, man. They're not a great 3-on-3 team. They're a bad shootout team. The good news is you don't have to worry about those things in the playoffs. Like your bread and butter, the thing that will matter most in the playoffs is 5-on-5. And again, we can get into the power play. And that is obviously something. Again, I think it looked better tonight. They didn't score on it, but I liked how they moved.
Well, there was one. Was it the one late where they didn't get a single shot off, but they moved it well?
Right. They moved pucks well.
Shot off. I don't think having Olofsson now I get to do this. It was about Natchez and McKinnon. I don't think having Olofsson and Nelson out there makes much sense.
No, it didn't make sense to me either. I went, why is he there?
They're both floating to the right side. That's where they both want to be. Neither of them, like Brock is, I ain't know much about his power play ability, but now I've seen it with Colorado. He, to me, seems like he needs to be on that right side.
He's got the one-timer. He's not Mikko, but he's got a one-timer.
He does. and he's not physical enough for the slot. That's where you do need either Lehkonen or Nichushkin. Those two players can play in that area and are very quick and they're very physical, holding off the contact around them. Nelson Olafson is definitely right wing, not a middle guy. I think Nelson's more of a right wing guy. So if you have, it was just it's more redundancy. It was double redundancy when you have Natchez McKinnon and Olafson Nelson out there. So it's just, again, it got too wide. And I feel like there maybe just was a sense of, let's just try something tonight. Like a night to
They
try
did
something.
they did try a different, the first power play that they had, Spring, they ran a blocks +1 and they ran it from below the goal line. Like, for people who have been saying, oh, they keep doing the same thing, why aren't they trying new things? They fucking tried something tonight. They went box +1 under the goal line, which is so much different from what they normally run. And they were trying to get McKinnon moving down the top. Benny asks, is there a way to simulate down ice speed on the power play? There is. You have to put your strong side players on the proper side. So that would be Nathan McKinnon coming down the right side. That would be your left-handed shots coming down the left side. So if it's a Brock Nelson, there is a way to simulate down ice speed. Now, it turns power play into more of a one-on-one game, and I don't love that because power play is all about creating 2-on-1s. Edmonton does it phenomenally when they have McDavid on his left side. They're able to float him outside the zone a little bit. The puck goes from Draisaitl to Bouchard over to McDavid, and he's at full speed when he catches the puck right above the top of the circles. I could see them doing that. They do try and figure that little motion out with McKinnon, but they do it in zone rather than floating him out to the blue line. Again, they tried something new on the power play. I thought it looked better tonight, Spring. It didn't score, but I was fine with the general feel of it.
Yeah, I just didn't like Nelson and Olafson out there together. I just don't think it's a good combo. So keep trying, keep plucking away.
Yeah.
Feels like the power play has not been what we wanted on this homestand. I've stopped keeping track, but
it started off hot. It has not gone great since. So I don't think we're going to hit our numbers. There are certain nights, Spring, where Nathan McKinnon just decides in overtime that he's going to turn into a Little Caesars franchise and just serve up hot and ready pizzas all night long. Tonight was one of those. It was so uncanny of how Nate just got the puck and went, yeah, fuck it. I hope this works. Like the little behind the back pass with 25 seconds to go in the offensive zone for no reason just turns into a turnover. It baffles me how a player in 3-on-3 overtime with all of that ice on his own defensive blue line will decide to try and go through someone's triangle rather than just go around them, considering there's nobody on planet Earth that is as fast as you in a straight line. He just decides to go through someone, own defensive blue line, instead of just like taking the belly out route and beating the guy with his foot speed. Makes no sense to me. It's just certain nights where Nate just goes, you know what? Whatever. Hopefully this works. My 10% chance works tonight.
Oh, it didn't hurt.
It didn't hurt. It didn't hurt. I thought it was comical. I was laughing at the TV. Again, like you get to do whatever you want, man. Like you've got 85 points this year. You've got a chance to win the Art Ross, the Rocket. You have a chance to win the Hart. You have a chance to win a gold medal. Like you do get to at some point, you get to go, Nate, do what you want.
Oh, I thought the big three tonight were very good. McKinnon, Natchez, and Makar. I thought that anytime that they were moving it with each other, it was dangerous. The Ducks, I mean, did they block a lot of shots tonight? I felt like they were just bodies everywhere. There's just, if you defensively against Colorado, if you bring you got to man up. Like the Ducks are probably exhausted tonight. The Preds, when they came in, and after that game, I know they end up winning by 4, but they were probably exhausted by the time that thing was done.
24 blocks for Anaheim.
those teams did do a good job of, and Toronto did this too. And again, probably exhausted. They did their best to not give them inches and one-on-one, stick with your guy, um, body them, let them get shots from the perimeter. So that's where you will see the Avs still get high shots on goal numbers, but don't let them in. Don't let them in tight. And these teams, they've been working their asses off to get it done. I'll give them credit. I mean, there is that sense you come in like this is the final boss. You know, you always get up for the final boss. When coming to Ball Arena, that is the final boss. Like it's the toughest place to play against the best team. And these plucky teams they're playing excellent defensively.
I mean, their
Colorado.
Colorado's heat map's not that bad for 5-on-5 shot opportunities.
Is that
Like
that big old red? That's the
that big old red
Colorado?
circle. That big old red circle is like 5-on-5 shot attempts right there in that spot. Like most of those shots come from inside the house, which is like inside the circles, rather inside the dots and the top of the circles. Like the vast majority of their shots, and the other ones are from the right point. And I'm going to guarantee 75% of those shot opportunities, those attempts, are Cale Makar from the right point.
Sure. And, you know, I'd say some of those are rebound looks. Like Nichushkin had a rebound look tonight where it comes off Dostal, and I'm like, oh, it's right there for him. He can put this in. Nope. They collapsed on him real quickly, and Dostal made the save. I don't know. I thought it was a real just grindy defensive performance. It wasn't one of those clog the neutral zone type things that we see, especially when the Avs go on the road to some of those types of teams, your Minnesotas of the world. But these teams who have come in, I just feel like they're just selling out, and they are trying to mark their offensive player and push him out of the way in front of the net as hard as they can. I mean, I'll give it up to them. And then, I mean, really, they got Dostal tonight.
They did.
He was
the best player on the ice.
Kind of what happened. He was excellent tonight.
Sensational. He made some unbelievable saves
that I thought would have been goals.
The one-time saves that he made on McKinnon, on Makar, on Colton, the second pad save that he made after Bardakov just threw one into the post with nothing in front of him. He made a couple of saves on Cale Makar in the third period and in overtime that should have been in the back of the net. Like Lucas Dostal was phenomenal tonight. And I think if you play that exact same game on another night, if you simulate this game again, you're probably walking away with a 4-1, 4-2 empty net type of regulation win. Again, I'm not going to walk out of this game like disappointed in the Avalanche. I thought they played really well, dude. I really, really did. And I think Anaheim's a fun team, right? They're third in the Pacific for a reason. I don't think they're going to be an easy out in the playoffs if they are that 3 seed, right? So it's likely going to be them and Edmonton is my guess, right? They're going to probably travel to Edmonton that first round if they get there.
Well, and yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that. This was something I did want to say. It's actually not the worst thing that Anaheim gets 2 points tonight. I want Anaheim in that 3 seed.
Rather than wild card 1.
Yeah, I don't want them in the wild card. Heaven forbid they're wild card 2. I wouldn't want the Ducks to be your round 1 matchup.
No, like you get
win
through
series,
Anaheim, but it might be a 6-game series, and I don't want a 6-game series.
Yeah. No Carlson, no Terry tonight.
No McTavish.
That as well. He's an excellent young player too.
How good is Jackson LaCombe, man? I don't watch enough Jackson LaCombe. He just got named to the American Olympian team because he's stepping in for injured Seth Jones. LaCombe's legit.
Yeah, he was noticeable in there. Even in there, he got into it with someone in their first game here in Denver, and that's another thing I wanted to say. I think that this is Anaheim's young team's second trip to Denver this year. There's more comfortability. They were the darlings of the NHL when they came in. They're riding high. A couple months ago when they came in here, and the Avs humbled them. But then they got the experience too. Now they feel it. Oh, we can come into this build. We might have lost like 4-1 or whatever it was, but now at least we know what it feels like to play that team in that building. But yeah,
Obvious.
you want them to stay in that 3 seed so that they play Edmonton or Vegas in the first round, and the Avs play like San Jose, who I just don't think is as complete of a young team as
No, I
Anaheim.
think you'd walk all over San Jose in a first round series. I think you'd walk all over Nashville too if the Preds find a way to get there, or Utah. You that's a 4 or 5 game series in my mind's eye if everyone's healthy. Yeah, I don't see Anaheim rather falling all the way to the 8 seed. So if they even go to the 7, I'm fine with that because that matches them up with whoever wins the Pacific, and that will be Edmonton, or more likely after the trade for Rasmus Anderson, it's probably going to be the Vegas Golden Knights winning the Pacific this year. I'd like to see Anaheim go there, and then we get a 2-3 matchup of Edmonton, and is it going to be LA again?
It could be LA again. It could be San Jose. Either way, I would like the Ducks to stay out of whatever it takes to keep them out of wild card too. I wouldn't want to see that team because again, they're young and stupid enough where they actually could. I saw someone say, some bozo say like, "Oh, the Avs are like flying way too high," and it got like a bunch of attention on Twitter. And they're going to get upset in the first round, which is almost
Like Tampa
unfathomable.
did, like Boston did.
Sure, which is almost unfathomable. I mean, yeah, that Bruins team, but and that's the team that he was actually referencing. Like I've seen this before with the Bruins, but the difference is that this Avs team has much more Hall of Fame talent.
And
It is
Colorado
top to
is,
bottom better.
if you look back at that Boston team, they were buoyed by unbelievable goaltending. Now, the Avs have had very good goaltending. Like, they've got the best tandem in the league right now. They were buoyed by unbelievable goaltending. I think it was like a 930 save percentage, something ridiculous like that. That Linus Ullmark had that season to win the Vezina, and then Jeremy Swayman was the 2. Like, they had really, really good goaltending. I think the closer comp would be Tampa Bay when Tampa lost to, I want to say, Columbus that year, and Tampa
Sounds
was just
right.
unbeatable in the regular season. They kind of just coasted, and Jonathan Cooper has talked about that. I suppose take this homestand and go, they're not flying as high anymore. Like, they're coming back down to a little bit of the mean. Now, they still have a 12-point lead with 2 games in hand on Dallas, a 12-point lead with 3 games in hand on Minnesota. And they also have the benefit of, well, there's an Olympic break in 7 days from right now. So you just kind of get to restart at the end of February. I don't think it's going to happen to them. I'm still nervous about the second round. I'm still nervous about Dallas if they don't get beat by Minnesota, and I'm going to be nervous until that series is over.
Oh, yeah. No, even though the Avs are better than the Stars, you know that the games in Dallas are going to be stupid, and there's going to be moments where Dallas is celebrating and
it feels like the end of the world.
It's neon green in there, and Jamie Benn's dumb face is smiling, and I'm just like, oh god, yeah, that's gonna be a squeezer. I guess it's, if I'm to rank the teams now. Granted, I would say the Avs are moving on no matter what. They're too good with Hall of Fame talent that are too hungry. Landeskog is such an X factor too.
100% has to be healthy, has to be ready.
Yeah. That guy's not going out in the first round.
Yeah, you didn't want to play him in the first 2 games of the series though last year.
You didn't. Maybe you should have. But he'll play barring injury in game 1 this year, and that's just a different level when that story is out there. But if I'm to rank the teams I'd least like to face, I would go Anaheim 1 of the possibilities.
Of the first round possibilities.
First round possibilities.
Okay.
I'd go Anaheim least would want to face, just because of the young, stupid, naive factor. We're like, holy shit, we took 1. And now can we take 2? And then
the Quenneville thing too.
Yeah. And then I go to Nashville. And then after that, it should be like a certainty no matter who it is. I think Nashville could be a tick tricky as well.
I think Utah's plucky too.
Yeah.
I think I agree with your rankings. Anaheim, Nashville, Utah
I'd
as
go
teams
Utah
that like I
3.
don't really want to see as the 8 seed. But if you give me San Jose, Chicago, if you give me LA,
Yep.
I'm like I'm
Seattle.
laughing all my way to the second. Yeah, Seattle, laughing all my way the
Yeah.
whole way to that
I know the
second round.
Seattle thing a couple years ago, but that history won't repeat itself.
The question, did Vegas overpay for Anderson? I don't think so. We talked about this. Was this 2 days ago, Spring, that we talked about
Yeah.
this? I don't believe so. I thought it was a pretty fair trade. They got ahead of it. He had some salary retained. So the first round pick and a second round pick with the condition if Vegas wins this year's cup alongside Zach Whitecloud. I thought it was pretty much the going rate for the number one defenseman on the board.
Yeah. Yeah.
First round pick, legit NHL player. Like, that's what
some of the
she
stuff
costs.
is expensive. It's always surprises me how expensive these trades are. Year in and year out, it's always a little more expensive than you would imagine.
Well, I always think it's a little bit more expensive, but then I looked at that trade, and then I also looked at the like he for sure was kind of the belle of the middle six, bottom six ball. He was a top 10 guy on the Athletics trade board. And like he came in for 2 second round picks. I thought he was going to cost someone a first.
Even 2 seconds for Kiefer Sherwood, who's a good player.
He's probably
but
just
2 seconds is no, these aren't NBA seconds. An NHL second is,
yeah, it's legit.
It's legit. So it's expensive. But if I'm the Avs, and there's really no, you want to be flexible year in and year out, and things change, but the goaltending is so big. Getting the goaltending short out does make me feel like you can you could trade whatever you want, really.
Yeah, they figured it out.
Because you can fill out your top six is pretty much set. You just extended Natchez. Like you have like how many more years of Brock Nelson? 2 more after this? I think it was a 3-year deal. I could be wrong. So that's like, at least 2 more years. Lekkonen's the type of guy, even if his contract is coming up in the next 2-3 years, nothing crazy. You're set. You got everybody.
Let's take a peek at the contracts moving forward. Nelson signed at 7.5 through 2028. Natchez obviously signs his $11.5 million deal through the year 2024, so rather 2034. Lekkonen is a free agent after next year. So he and Ross Colton come up the same season. Just give half of Ross Colton's money to Artturi Lekkonen and keep him in the fold. On defense, Girard is signed this year and next year. Makar is signed this year and next year. Taves is signed through 2031. Manson is signed through 2028. Malinsky is a free agent in the offseason this year. Burns, if he wants to come back and be the Iron Man, I'd take him back in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah. I don't see why he couldn't play next year. He looks like he could play next year.
I think he wants that. I think there's 2 things he wants. I think he wants obviously a cup first and foremost, and I think he wants the Phil Kessel record. And he could do it. He has to play another like 2 full seasons, I think, to get there, maybe 3, something like that.
He could do that.
I think the number's in like 1,200.
What if they win the cup this year? Does he want to go out on top? But screw it, $1 million.
I mean, it's tough to make money. Where are you making $1 million, man? Where are you gonna do it, Burnsy? It's the only place you can do it's on the ice.
Come on, don't sneeze at $1 million. But yeah, so everybody except for Lekkonen, Colton, and Girard, and I'm not Kale as well, but Kale's extending. There's 0 doubt. So it's just Girard, Lekkonen, and Colton off the books, not after next year, but the following year.
Correct.
So next year, everybody's back unless they get traded. Someone gets traded. The following year, it's only 3 dudes, and really the only one that you're like, yeah, you kind of want him back is Lehkonen.
Drury's an RFA.
I bet he's not expensive.
No, you'd be able to keep him, and he wants to be here.
Yeah.
Brindley. Oh, the Brindley deal. I forgot about that.
And that's
he's
part of
taking a pay
why.
cut for another 2 years. It's unreal.
Yeah, that cheap ass Brindley deal is another reason why you can just kind of be uber aggressive right now.
It's going to be nuts, man. Again, there's 7 games until the Olympic break. You come back, and there's like, I think there's like 18 days, maybe even less than that. I think it's like 18 days from the day they get back from Italy until the trade deadline. So we're a month away from like a big deal or two happening for the Avs.
Let's see. Mark Thomas in the chat says Burns has made $108 million in his career. You want to know what he could easily make? $109 million.
Make it an even 110. We'll be happy with it.
Yeah, you got to get the even numbers. We like even numbers.
Yeah, man, it's good. Yeah, the Brindley deal is awesome because that's a middle 6, possible top 6 player that you have on this team at 21, and he does all the right things. Like, the hope is that he's the Arturi Lehkonen replacement if you were to ever lose him, or if Lecky's game goes south with age. Like, that's what Brindley projects to be. He is good enough. I don't think he's as good of a player at this point, obviously, as Lehkonen is, but that guy
Give him
rocks.
a couple years.
Yeah, dude, like, he's just a fucking nail gun. He's a little dude, but he's a water bug, and I love a water bug who goes to the hard areas, man.
Yeah,
like Brad Marchand, love those dudes. Brindley's got a little bit of that. He's got a little bit of that rat in him, dude.
Yeah, or replace, because if it comes down to, and it probably will come down to Lehkonen or Colton, then he's your Colton replacement, your in-house Colton replacement, and then you can always just go acquire the next Gavin Brindley in 3 years, because that's what this front office does. They'll just go trade fucking whoever their next Victor Olofsson is.
Dude, the next trade is going to be the somehow pull the wool over your eyes trade. It's going to be whoever they move Sam Girard for. Like, I'm so convinced that when they do it, it's going to be a deal that we look back on and we go, how the hell did they get player X or Y, or pick X or Y that turned into player X? Or like, that's going to be the next one that they do. Cause it's been the deal that everyone's been talking about for a few years, that like eventually it's going to happen. You either have to move him for pieces right now, or his money comes off the books and it just goes straight to Kale. I think that's going to be the one, is that they're going to be able to bring in some player for Sam, and he's been serviceable for this team. He's played up to his contract level, but like, he is redundant at this point, and I think that's going to be the next deal that like they make, and we all look back and go, what was the other GM thinking?
Yeah, it could be. You do have to keep that in mind with Girard's money, that like, yeah, it makes sense right now to include him in some deal, and they would probably have to. Any big move, they'd have to. Well, maybe not every move, but a lot of them.
Any legit move. Like, if you want Kadri, if you want Panarin, if you want Hamilton, like, that's the contract that has to go.
Yeah. Or you move him for multiple assets as more of a money saver, kind of like they did with Charlie Coyle.
Right. So like an off-season type move.
Yeah, that would be more of an off-season type move. But look, I think Girard's played well. It's just and I thought he was good tonight. He had a torn on tonight where I was like, nice, Sammy. Created some space, moved the puck up the ice. Thought he was good defensively tonight, for what he is. But yeah, because Kale's about to set records, money.
You need the money.
Like, that's all. That's really all it is.
Yep.
It's not that they don't like him. It's because of the business.
Absolutely have to have it. And since they both become free agents at the same time, would behoove the team to move the player and get an asset in return for it
Exactly.
rather than just allocate the money. And Chris McFarland and Joe Sakic are too savvy of front office executives to let that go by the wayside.
Exactly.
All you have to do is look at the Mikko Rantanen situation. Like, they weren't willing to let that money walk out the door for nothing, and they moved a future Hall of Famer. So they'll find a way to move that other contract.
That's why this is probably Sam Girard's last season on the Avs.
Yeah.
He will get moved in the offseason because the offseason,
or
right?
in season.
But they can now, granted, Kale's money wouldn't kick in until the following year. But this offseason is when they can extend him, right?
Well, this offseason is when they can extend him. And it's also the final offseason that you can extend an 8-year contract because those come off the books at the end of this year.
So then Kale's 100% getting extended this
offseason.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
So you could, I guess, you could keep Sammy up until next trade deadline. But honestly, with the writing being on the wall, I wouldn't keep him hostage like that. Even though it's you're playing for the best team in the league, that's got to be a weird situation showing up to work knowing I'm getting traded at some point this year.
You just have to find a way to get another left-handed player in here, man. Like, they have no left-handed defenseman. Yeah. They just don't exist in Colorado. And I see someone was asking, I think it was Levi in the chat, was asking, like, how much do I believe in pairing right and left-handed defensemen together? Ask almost every professional defenseman in the world what side they would prefer to play, and they will say, put me on my strong side.
Exactly.
Like, there is no D-man in the world that's like, oh yeah, I'd love to receive cross-ice passes on my backhand when a 6'3", 215-pound forward is skating 20 miles an hour at me. Like, putting a lefty on the left side and a righty on the right side is everything, especially in a league where, like, 18 inches is the difference between getting a breakout pass out and a puck ending up in your own net. And that's like the difference between having your stick in the middle of the ice and to the outside of the ice, right? If you're playing on your opposite side, your stick's to the middle of the ice. You can't move that puck over, get your hips around the puck. Like, it matters so much, man.
Yeah.
So much.
That's why I keep harping on the left-handed shot on the right side. And shout out to the Manson-Burns pair, though. That righty pair.
Manson's been really good on his offhand. It's been nuts.
Yeah, no, but you're right. Like, it's that extra pivot, that extra movement you got to do. Not for all passes, but more.
Like Manson said, Manson has been on record saying, I don't love it, but it's worked well.
Yeah, receiving more passes on the backside of your blade. Yeah, it could get annoying for sure.
It sucks. Every elite defenseman that I've ever known, man, everyone that I've ever known goes, the only time I ever want to be on my offside is on a power play. That's it.
What shot is Guliev? Is he a lefty?
I think Guliev's a lefty. I'm almost positive he's a lefty. And he's your Girard replacement. That's who he is.
That's good.
He's slightly bigger, not at like he just as non-physical, but he's slightly bigger and he's a better skater. Or at least a faster skater. I don't know if he's a better skater. He's a faster skater. Sam's probably a better skater in terms of his escapability and his ability to create breakouts with his feet. So, yeah, well, I don't know. We're getting into the freaking minutia here.
Yeah. Hey,
Guliev's legit. He's fun to watch. If you guys haven't watched his highlights from the KHL, he's a dope player. He's a really cool player.
I suppose last thing before we get out of here, Flyers wrap up the homestand, and Philly had, I think, a 4-2 lead in Utah tonight, lost in overtime. So it's not going to be of the back-to-back variety that we've seen some teams have to do of late. Utah, Colorado, 2 nights consecutively. Philly will have a night off, but they're still going Utah to Colorado. And I think before that big Leafs game on Sunday, it's going to be a big Sunday overall. This would be a disappointing homestand, even if they only got 1 point on Friday. I think that you got to get 2 points on Friday in order for us to say, yeah, this was an acceptable homestand.
I agree. Yeah, you got to beat Philly.
Yeah.
And you want to do that going into a 3-game road trip that they're going
I think
up.
it's 4.
Up to 4? Yeah. That game on Sunday is weird, man. Have you heard what we're doing? We're doing something really interesting there. So, McGahee is being given the opportunity, and I believe he is taking it, to stay home and be the PA announcer, which is one of his jobs, the PA announcer at Empower Field at Mile High for the AFC Championship game. So I don't believe McGahee is going to be calling the Colorado-Toronto game in the morning on Sunday. So what we're going to do on Altitude AM 950 is we're going to do a simulcast with Mosier on the call, and I'm going to be, bringing us in and out of break so McGahee can be boots on the ground for Broncos and Patriots. And then he's going to get on the PJ. He's going to get on the KSE PJ and fly up to Canada's capital for the Avs before they take on the Senators.
Salute to all of you.
Yeah.
Great work ahead for the fine folks here at KSE. It'll be a fun Sunday. But yeah, Philly's okay team. I was not impressed with Philly at all, and it sucks because I actually they got hot there for like 2 weeks, and I was like, ooh, Michkov, ooh, Rick Tocchet, ooh,
dude, Michkov has fallen so far out of favor with Rick Tocchet.
I literally since I just mentioned those two, I saw something where like Flyers fans are now they're shit talking Tocchet like Jackets fans did Quenneville,
right?
But either way, yeah, that Philly, man, when the Avs, it was a Sunday in Philly. Their goaltending's not great. Whether it's Urson or Vladar. Get right game on Friday. I mean, it's an absolute must get right game. Their 3 losses on the homestand are all solid teams. This is a tick below a solid team.
I agree.
You got to go get this one.
Without a doubt. All right, Spring. It's going to do it for us tonight. Avs find a way to get a point. They don't get a win, losing the skills competition to the Anaheim Ducks. But if you can find a way to get 2 points against Philly, it'll be a successful homestand. Val Nichushkin comes back into the lineup, still waiting on Devon Taves and Gabriel Landeskog and all that. But we will wrap up the 7-game homestand coming up in just a couple of days, and the Avs head out on a 4-game road trip starting with a Saturday morning game at 11:30 a.m. against the Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll continue breaking down trades and all that stuff, but yeah, 12-point lead with 3 games in hand on Minnesota and 2 games in hand on Dallas. It's good to be an Av.
They didn't even have a good homestand, really. Haven't had one, and they have increased their lead on Dallas somehow. Jarrett Stednar, says Lucas. I like that. Jarrett Stednar.
All right, fellas. We'll see you guys later.